I think it should be perfect. Good evening, everybody. Welcome you all for today's virtual meeting. Today, for a change, normally there's always talk that they say Guru talks only about Shiva temples. Invariably, I'm a big Shiva Bhakta, but it doesn't mean that I don't have any inhibitions towards Vishnu. Vishnu is also equally a great God to me, and I have so much of faith in Vishnu, especially Venkatachalapati of Tirupati. And today, the topic that we are going to discuss under the head of the Vijayanagar temples of Tamil Nadu, we will look at 4 temples pertaining to the Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu, where 4 beautiful temples are there. That's Srivilliputturu, then you have Krishnapuram, then you have Naguneri and Tirukkurungudi. These 4 temples, out of which 3 are Divya Desams, and the 4th temple, Krishnapuram, is a beautiful architectural temple built for Venkatachalapati by the Nayak kings here in Tirunelveli. So let's go into this topic of seeing this beautiful Vijayanagar temples of South Tamil Nadu, Srivilliputturu, Krishnapuram, Tirukkurungudi, and Naguneri. This will be the presentation for today. Srivilliputturu. When you take and talk about the word Srivilliputturu, the first thing that comes to our mind is Andal Nachiyar, the Kodai Pirati, the concert of Mahavishnu, Rangamannar of Srivilliputturu. Srivilliputturu is the birthplace of Andal Nachiyar, who is known as Goda Devi or Bhudevi, and Vishnu Chittar, who was later known as Periyalvar, the father of Andal. As you all said right in the beginning of the meeting, Srivilliputturu is also known for its great Palgova today. Though we remember Andal or not, we remember the Palgova of Srivilliputturu. It is from those days of Andal, this has been a famous place where milk was in abundance. She has sung in her Tirpavai also as Vallal Perum Pasukkal. So the cows were yielding so much of milk there in that area. So that's why even today, that whole thing remains there, and the Palgova of Srivilliputturu is also equally famous. Periyalvar was a great devotee, a Vaishnava devotee, and he was engaged in the Kainkaryams of Vadapatra Sai, the presiding deity of Srivilliputturu temple. Vadapatra Sai temple is one of the oldest temples in this country, dedicated to Mahavishnu in the reclining form. Goda Devi, she takes birth as a child in the Tulasi Nandavanam of Srivilliputturu. Vishnu Chittar was engaged in the temple Kainkaryams of Vadapatra Sai. Every day he used to go to the Nandavanam, pluck tulasi and other flowers, and make a garland and offer it to the Vadapatra Sai. So one such day, when he went into the Nandavanam, he saw this Goda Devi as a small child there in the Nandavanam. He finds the baby in the Nandavanam and names her as Kodai and brings her up as his own child. Imbibing with the stories of Krishna, the greatness of Krishna and Vishnu into her mind as a child, Kodai was brought up by Vishnu Chittar or Periyalvar. Kodai grew up with a great love to Krishna, and one day she decided that she will marry Krishna. Vishnu Chittar used to make the garlands from fresh flowers and offer it to the presiding deity Vadapatra Sai every day. This was his regular routine every day that he was doing as a kainkariam for the temple. Kodai used to adorn herself with the garlands that he had made and look herself into the mirror and just imagine how this garland will look on Vadapatra Sai or Krishna there. And she used to imagine it and look into it. Actually, it is mirror, or there's a small well inside the temple of Andal, which is known as Kannadi Kinare. That water of that well used to be like a glass. So she used to see her reflection. That's what they say. So she used to look at herself wearing the garland and then offer it to the god. Vishnu Chittar one day happens to see this and he was very upset that how a garland that is specially made with so much of pavitram into it to be adorned on Perumal could be just taken by Andal and worn on herself before offering it to it. A prasadam can be taken like that, but not before offering it. So Vishnu Chittar was very upset. He makes a new garland and takes it to Perumal and offers it. Perumal refuses the garland and insists that he should be offered only with the garlands adorned by Kodai. You can see Vadapatra Sai with all the beautiful garland that is worn by Andal. It's there on him. So Vadapatra Sai insisted that she will be adorning the garlands and then giving it to him to be offered to him. And she was known as Chudi Kudutha Shudar Kudi. Andal observes the Pavai Nombu for 30 days in the month of Margali, singing praises of Krishna, which is known as Tirupavai, which all of us know about that. During the month of Margali, everybody sings this great hymns of Tirupavai in their houses and the temples also. Andal then goes to Srirangam with her father, and there she emerges one with Ranganatha as a Jyoti into Ranganatha. So thereby, she unites herself with Ranganatha or Krishna and becomes one with them. In remembrance of this, Andal getting united to Ranganatha, a new temple was built adjacent to the Vadapatra Sai temple for Andal Nachiyar, who became divine there. In the sanctum of this Andal temple, Andal is seen in the marriage column with Rangamannar. The Rangamannar is the Ranganatha. Rangamannar is called here as Rangamannar. And Andal gets married to him and the marriage column is there. The unique feature of this sanctum is that apart from the two, Rangamannar and Andal, Garudalvar is also seen standing by the side of Rangamannar. He is known as Periyar Tiruvadi. Ranganatha goes everywhere on his mount Garuda. So when he came to marry Andal Nachiyar, Garuda was there with him. So he asked Garuda to stay by his side and look into this marriage, see and enjoy his marriage. So thereby, Garuda also takes an important place inside the sanctum of Andal Nachiyar in Srivilliputturu. This is the beautiful Gopuram of Srivilliputturu, Vadapatra Sai temple, the tallest Gopuram of this Tamil country before the Srirangam temple Gopuram had come up. Vadapatra Sai temple is an ancient temple and it's one among the 108 Divya Desams. The sanctum of Vishnu is built on a very high base and you have led through a number of steps that you reach on the top level to see the sanctum of Vishnu. There inside the sanctum, Mahavishnu is seen reclining on to this Adisesha with his two Devis on by the side of his legs, and other Devatas are also there. This is a beautiful stucco image which has been later painted with all the natural colors. This is the Vadapatra Sai inside the sanctum. The Rajagopuram of this temple was built by Sri Krishna Devaraya, and there is a story to this. Sri Krishna Devaraya, the king of Vijayanagar, was deeply in love with a girl called Chinna Devi. He was already married to one lady called Tirumala Devi. This Chinna Devi was a dancer. So she was a beautiful dancer and she was very beautiful looking, and Krishna Devaraya fell in love with her. Krishna Devaraya wanted to marry her, but there was some sort of an opposition to this particular marriage of Krishna Devaraya marrying a dancing girl. So what happened, when Krishna Devaraya went out on a war campaign, this girl, Chinna Devi, was taken away from Hampi and brought down all over the south to different Vishnu temples, and they wanted to make her a Devadasi by tying her bottu. So finally, when Krishna Devaraya came back from his war expedition, saw that his lover was missing, and he came to know that she is on tour to south, and he meets her in the Srivilliputtur temple where she was supposed to be made as a Devadasi. Then he takes her and makes her his wife. In remembrance of Vattapatra Sai giving back his lover, he built this beautiful Gopuram of Srivilliputtur at Vattapatra Sai. This is one of the biggest Rajagopurams in this whole south of India. This is the Raya Gopuram, the original Raya Gopuram, built by Krishna Devaraya, which is later come to known as Rajagopuram. Look at that beautiful Rajagopuram. Very impressive Rajagopuram, absolutely tall and beautiful Rajagopuram. At the entrance of this, on either side, you have Garuda in standing position at the entrance of this Rajagopuram. The stone base, you have the Garuda. This Garuda is almost about 12 feet tall. Such huge Garuda image. And that side, you have Hanuman image also. This is the beauty of the entrance of this wonderful Gopuram of Srivilliputtur. 11 stories high. This is 11-story height, a beautiful Gopuram with all the Gopura Tangis there on the top row, and only Dwarapalaka images at each level. That's the beautiful Rajagopuram built by Sri Krishna Devaraya. And this is the beautiful Ratha. Every year during Adipuram, Andal Nachiyar is taken in this chariot around the streets of Srivilliputtur. There's again a beautiful Gopuram, very similar to this, at the outskirts of Srivilliputtur for a Shiva temple, also built by the Nayaks, which is the temple of Shiva is known as Vaidyanatha Swami temple. It's just behind the temple of Andal Nachiyar at Srivilliputtur. The major renovations of this temple were carried during the time of Thirumal Nayaka in 1623 to 1659 and Rani Mangammal between 1689 to 1706. The major renovations for this architectural marvel of the Srivilliputtur temple had taken place, especially in the Andal Sannidhi during this time of the Nayaks. The sculptures in the hall leading to the shrine of Andal were also built during their time. The temple became a very popular place of pilgrimage in this time, and he built many chowtries and temple tanks, and also painted beautifully with mural paintings on the walls, on the roofs of this wonderful temple, which are totally damaged today. The woodcraft work, which has been carried out during the night times, especially at the Vattapatra Sai temple, is something amazing and a work of art that is to be seen. This is the sanctum of Andal Nachiyar temple, typically built in the style of Vijayanagar. You can see all the costas. The costas are empty. Look at the Adrishtana, the beautiful Adrishtana, molded Adrishtana, the pillars, the Kumbha Pancharas, the Kodungai designs, everything is so beautiful. Typically in the style of Vijayanagar, they have built this Andal Nachiyar temple. Look at the windows that's been placed, jolly windows in this temple of Andal Nachiyar with hamsas. You can see two hamsas, the beaks meeting, two hamsas with their neck locked up and things like that. Beautiful hamsas, 4 pairs of hamsas form the beautiful jolly of the window that brings in light inside the sanctum and flanked by 2 yalis on either side. What a beautiful representation of the Kumbha in this. Recently, the temple of Andal Nachiyar, the Vimanam on top of the Andal Nachiyar shrine has been gilded with gold, covered with metal and gilded with gold. And this Kumbha Abhishekam had recently taken place about 5 years back. The main hall of this temple has something marvelous sculptures. You can see here, all very typical of Vijayanagar style. Here you find one person playing the flute and also holding a dagger. I'm not flute, sorry. He's his hand, one hand on his mustache and showing the dagger. A typical Vijayanagar warrior. Again, they call her Saraswati, but she's an Apsaras who's playing the veena. They call her Saraswati, but she's an Apsaras in the dancing pose, playing the veena and dancing. All these pillars that are the entrance or near the Dvajastambham are amazing. Each pillar is almost about 20 feet tall. And the sculptures there inside in these pillars are approximately about 12 to 13 feet, and they are all monolithic, single piece stone, they have carved it out. So beautiful sculptures and so beautiful pillars. Look at this. This is one of the beautiful images of Rati riding on a beautiful Hamsa Vahana. Again, this is one more image of the same Rati. Look at the beautiful Hamsa. Manmatha. The concept of Rati is seen here, having the sugar cane as his bow and flowers as his arrow. The main hall leading into the Andal temple is very beautifully decorated with yali pillars. You see the yalis, leaping yalis, very beautiful yalis, very intricately done with plenty of design. This is the typical hallmark of Vijayanagar style of architecture that you see in all the temples everywhere spread across this country. The yalis, you keep on repeating it in all the temples, but each and every temple, the yalis are different. They are something unique in each and every variety of the yalis shown in that particular temple. Unfortunately, today, the government does not know what to do about this. They are so very negligent about the great architecture that has been created. You see the tube lights are being stuck onto this. They have tied out the tube lights on these yalis trunks. It's a very pathetic sight to see. Look at this. Wonderful yalis with all the tube lights, yalis holding the tube light. What a pathetic sight to see. Paintings have almost been vanished now. Today, you can't see any of these paintings in full form. Most of them are totally gone. Look at this. This is the condition of the paintings. Most of the paintings have been eroded and gone because they have not preserved it. They have not taken care to preserve it. You find the electrical pipelines, everything going there on top of this Vidhanam. Not only this, the entire prakaram of Andal temple is painted with Divya Desams in those days by the Nayak kings using the vegetable colors in a typical style. Just as you see the Perumal in the sanctum of any Divya Desam, in the same position, all these Perumals are painted here. Once you go around the production of Andal temple, you can have the darshan of the 108 Perumals in all the Divya Desams there. And today it's been repainted. To an extent, they have done a good job, but still, I would say they should have taken pains to preserve the whole thing than to repaint these things. This is my opinion. The parrot. You see, every day in the evening during the Sayaraksha Puja, a new parrot is made and given into Andal's hand. This parrot is a unique way of making it. They make it with all the straw and a particular leaf. They tie it around like parrot. And the white flowers that you see here are all from Nandyarvete and Arali and few other leaves. They use only that leaf, the Nandyarvete flower and Arali flowers and make this beautiful flower. The beak of this parrot is made with from the pomegranate. They take out that thing on the projections on the pomegranate and they do it. So this is a beautiful way of making this, what you call the parrots that is being offered to Andal every day. You don't find this parrot being made anywhere in this country. They are making in Srirangam and many other temples, but nothing is a match to this. It looks exactly like an original parrot. That's the beauty of this. And for the eyes, they keep this mica, kakapun, which you get it from the stones. They keep that for the eyes. It's such a wonderful thing to see that parrot of Andal every day there. The beautiful temple of Andal and the Vatapatra Sai of Srivilliputtur is steeped in divinity and eternal love for the Jivatma to unite with Paramatma. The new gold-plated Vimana of Andal, the great sculptural art of Nayaks are the landmark of this temple. The beauty and the grace of Andal Nachiyar and the parrot that she holds in her hand adds to the chaste Tamil Tirpavai that she gave to this world, make this temple a very unique temple. Now we proceed to the next temple that we're going to see. It is about the Krishnapuram temple of Sri Venkatachalapati at Krishnapuram. Krishnapuram is 10 kilometers from Tirunelveli town on the way to Tuticorin. So this temple is a temple that is dedicated to Venkatachalapati, located at Krishnapuram. The temple was built by Krishnappa Nayaka in 1563 to 1572. A Madurai Nayaka under the Vijayanagar dynasty, he built this temple. He constructed this temple with the 5-level Rajagopuram and also the 4 Bada streets, and he also created a village around this temple. And these Bada streets were created so beautiful for the smooth movement of the chariot during the temple festivals. The village was originally named as Thiruvenkadapuram, and later it got changed as Krishnapuram. Devanachilar, Mayarulum Perumal, the son-in-law of Vishwanatha Nayaka of Madurai dynasty, played a great important role in the construction of this temple. The temple is surrounded by granite walls. The temple has originally three prakaras and a five-tiered Rajagopuram. The sanctum of this temple houses Venkatachalapati in the standing posture, and it's almost about 4 feet tall, made of granite, with 4 arms holding Shankha Chakra and Kati and Varda Hasta. And he's flanked with Sri Devi and Bhudevi on either side. And the Utsavar of this temple is known as Srinivasa Perumal. The Ardha Mandapam is guarded by 2 huge Dwarapalakas. And again, they have a separate shrine for Alarmel Vangai Tayar on the outer Prakaram. Look at this huge Dwarapalaka, a typical Vijayanagar Dwarapalaka, which stands almost about 14 feet tall. And the Vaishnava Thiruman on top of it. Really, I would say that they should avoid doing all these things on these wonderful sculptures so that we enjoy the beauty of these sculptures. Thiruman can be applied in a small way to show that it's a Vaishnava temple, but not to this extent of extreme way of posing the Vaishnavism there. There are many halls in this temple, namely as Pandal Mandapam, Vahana Mandapam, Ranga Mandapam, Naguneri Jiyar Mandapam, and all these mandapams are there. Pandapal Mandapam has pillars that replicate the architectural features of the typical Vijayanagara style of architectures. You find the Veerabhadra here. I don't know what for this Veerabhadra is being introduced in all the Vaishnava temples also built by the Nayakas. The Nayakas, they're Vaishnavas. They were also Saiva Bhaktas. The Veerabhadra cult or Veera Saivism was also a part of culture in those days. And that's why you find this Veerabhadra sculptures being represented in most of the temples of the Vijayanagar Nayaks. Again, that Veerabhadra with the sword. Look at the mustache, everything. Amazing, huge, beautiful architectural wonder. The temple houses rare sculptures from the Nayak period, Veerappa Nayaka Mandapam. There are exquisite carvings and pillars and life-size images indicating various Hindu Puranas. The Jiyar Mandapam houses a lot of pillars with images of ladies holding lamps, as you see in the Kerala temples. The Mani Mandapam has numerous pillars with sculptures of elephants, yalis. The composite columns of Veerabhadra holding the sword and horn are found in addition to the which is a typical feature of the late Vijayanagara style. Unfortunately, this is a wonderful architectural temple, which is about 400-500 years old. You are not allowed to photograph here. I don't know what prevents them from doing the photography of this temple. Everywhere, they say the photography should not be done, and it is restricted. So unfortunately, we are not able to get the good photographs of all these wonderful sculptures that you see in the Krishnapuram temple. This Krishnapuram temple is dedicated to Venkatramana Swami. The Vijayanagar kings were all from the Hampi area and Andhra region, and their Kuladevata was Venkatachalapati of Tirupati. So wherever they had their viceroy's station, these viceroys built a lot of temples around the south country of Tamil Nadu dedicated for Venkatachalapati. In this last 400-500 years, you find a lot of Venkatachalapati temples in places around Tirunelveli, in Madurai, and other places also, in Tanjavur and other places. And all these temples are architectural wonders that they have created. Look at this. This is one of the sculptures of Bhima. This is again Arjuna. Again, one more lady there. These sculptures are typical in Vijayanagara style. Look at that Rati. Such a beautiful Rati. Very beautiful Rati you can see here in this Krishnapuram temple. She's seated very elegantly on the swan. Look at her hairstyle, the koppu, the hairdress, the jewelry that she wears, and the way in which she's holding her mirror in one hand and flower in another hand is amazing beauty. Rati, one of the most beautiful sculptures of Krishnapuram. This is the outer mandapam where you have lines of sculptures, lines and rows of sculptures there. All these things, sculptures are caged now. They're all inside the cage and you can hardly photograph them. All these things are kept inside the cage. So that's a way of protection so that no destruction is being done to that. I appreciate it, but at the same time, people who want to enjoy the beauty of the sculptures can hardly see and enjoy this beauty of the sculptures. All these things, you can see the cage around this. Look at that lady. She's taking a prince on her shoulder to the war field. This is again a beautiful sculpture which you find in many of the places. A veeran or a warrior eloping with this girl, and she wants to hide herself from others. So she has taken a sari and put around her head like a big sash there. Look at that. That's a beautiful way of depicting this sculpture. And this is an amazing sculpture of Annamacharya. We all know Annamacharya was a great devotee of Venkateswara Swami at Tirumala. He was stationed in Tirumala and he wrote about 30,000 songs in praise of Lord Venkateswara at Tirumala. And he was known as the great Annamaya, the great devotee of Tirumala, Venkatramana Swami. When they built a temple for this Venkatachalapati here in Tirunelveli, Annamaya was also being incorporated in the sculptural form in this temple. Just give me a minute. One. Again, a beautiful representation of a dancing girl in this temple. Look at these wonderful sculptures of social life there. Venkateshwara was the Kuladevata of Vijayanagar rulers and their feudatories, the Nayaks of the different places from the Tamil country. Nayak kings built these temples for Venkatachalapati in the areas under their governance, and these temples were beautiful with architectural features in the typical Vijayanagar style. Krishnapuram is one such temple and the village created by them in the 16th century that stands out for the great Vijayanagar contribution to this Tamil country. Tirukkurungudi temple is the next thing that we are going to see here. Tirukkurungudi is a great temple, a Vaishnava temple in Tirunelveli district, located at the foothills of the Western Ghats. It's just located a scenic place right at the foothills of the Western Ghats, a beautiful temple. The temple is dedicated to Nambiraya. And the village of Tirukkurungudi has a history of over 2,500 years. Look at this. You can find the Western Ghats there at the backdrop of the temple and the beautiful Agrahara street right in front of the Tirukkurungudi temple. This is one among the 108 Divya Desams of Vishnu, sacred to Sri Vaishnavates. The temple is located in the center of the town, flanked by 4 big Mada streets and Agraharams. These Agraharams are intact even today. They are not being reconverted into modern houses or anything. The Agraharams are beautiful and still remain the same in there. And you have the lengthy Rathavidis running around the temple of Tirukurangudi also. The entrance to this Tirukurangudi temple is the Gopuram, which is Motta Gopuram. And it is believed in this Tirukurangudi is the place where Thirumangai Alvar, one of the 12 Alvars, he spent his last days and attained moksha here. And hence this Tirukurangudi is known as Dakshina Vaikuntham. By the grace of Tirukurangudi Nambi, Nammalvas were born to his mother Ubayanangai. Thirumangai Alvar got his mukti and attained Paramapadam in this thalam. And in memory of this, a small temple is constructed with the name Thirumangai Alvar Tiruvasu on the banks of this river in this town, which is towards the east direction of this temple. The presiding deity of this Divyadesam was sung, or what you call the Mangala Sasanam of the presiding deity Nambirayar was done by 4 Alvars, namely Tirumizhisai Alvar, Nammalvar, Periyalvar, and Thirumangai Alvar. 4 Alvars have sung about this great this Nambi of Tirukurangudi. Now, what you see here is the Moolasthana of the Nambirayar temple at Tirukurangudi. Perumal is seen standing there with Sri Devi and Bhudevi. You have the Bharadwaja Maharishi and other Rishi here. And the Utsav Murti is also seen here with his 4 concerts. There are 5 Nambis totally in this Kshetram. The Nindra Nambi, the standing posture of Nambi, is the Moola Perumal of this temple. By the side of him, you have the Irunda Nambi in the sitting posture and Kiranda Nambi in the sleeping posture. Apart from this, you have another Nambi called Tiruparkadal Nambi, which is slightly away from the temple, and Tirumalai Nambi located on top of a hill close to this place. The Moolavar Nindra Nambi is also known as Paripurnan and is found along with this 2 Piratis, Sri Devi and Bhudevi. Markandeya Maharishi and Bhrigu Maharishi are on the either side of this great Vishnu here in the standing posture. The Utsavar of this temple is known as Vaishnava Nambi, and he is seen with 2 concerts. Normally, it is Sri Devi and Bhudevi in all the Vaishnava temples. Here, it is Neela Devi and Kurungudi Valli Tayar are the 2 concerts of Nambi. The Perumal is known as Nambi. This is the Utsav Murti. The temple is located very near the river Nambiyare. And Tirumalai Nambi temple, which is located on top of Mahendragiri, which is about 8 kilometers from this temple. It's inside the reserve forest there. So this is the Utsav Murti, who is known as Vaishnava Nambi in this temple. Tamil language, Nambi means personification and virtuous, righteous quality blended with beauty and grace. So Nambi is that. So Vishnu is Nambi. He is known, this Kshetram is also known as Vamana Kshetram. Kurungudiyavan represents Vamana avatar of Vishnu. Vamana came as a small, so Kurungudiyavan is Vamana. So this is also known as Vamana Kshetram. This is the photograph of the Moolasthanam of Tirukurungudi Nambi. There are separate sannadhis for Ninda Nambi, Veetirinda Nambi, and Kirda Nambi, all in row there. Below the Nambi's Padam, the head of Mahabali is also found. The Irinda Nambi is also known as Vaikunta Radhan. This Nambi, Nambirayar, whatever you call him, is also known as Paripurnan and Vaikunta Radhan also. A small river is there by the side of the temple. It's called Tiruparkadal, and it's on the outskirts of this village. And that Tiruparkadal Nambi Sannidhi is located there by the side of this river, out on the outskirts of this temple. Now, when Shiva got cursed with Brahmahati dosham for plucking the head of Brahma, the Kapalam, the Brahma Kapalam, got stuck to Shiva's hand, and it could not be removed at all. And all that begging that whatever fell into that, when Shiva ate, his stomach was not full and he was finding it very, very difficult to live. And that is called the Bhikshadana form of Shiva, holding the Brahma Kapalam in his hand. So he didn't know what to do. He was going around all the places. Then finally he comes to this place of Tirukurungudi. He comes to this Thalam, and he is advised by Nambi, Ninda Nambi, that if he begs the food from Tirukurungudavalli Tayar to offer food into this Amudam, into this Kapalam, his Sapa Vimochanam will happen. So Shiva did that. He had his Sapa Vimochanam. When he had the Sapa Vimochanam, Shiva was asked to stay there. Under the advice of Nambi, he came to stay there in Tirukurungudi itself. And he is known as Udan Nindrar. Today, inside the sanctum of Tirukurungada Nambi, you had a sanctum of Shiva in the Linga form there. A great Vaishnavite saint called Tirumangai Alvar has sung in praise of the Shiva and also referred him as Pakkam Nindrar. That is the one who stood by the side of Vishnu. So he is known as Pakkam Nindrar. There was a Shivalinga Pradishta right in the front of the Tirumala Nindanambi Sannidhi. A separate shrine was there for Shiva there in that temple. The Sannidhi of Shiva with the Linga form is located in front of the Nindanambi and the Kidandanambi. So between these two places, it was there. Let's see what happened today to that particular thing. In the 1990s, TVS Group came forward to renovate this temple at the cost of 1 crore. TVS Group, you all know, it's a big group in Tamil Nadu. They originate from this small village of Tirukurungudi. That's why the T stands for Tirukurungudi. That is their village, and they came forward to renovate this entire temple, and they gave 1 crore for this. This Tirukurungudi temple is under the control of the Jiyar. The Jiyar of the temple felt that Shiva's shrine in the front, which was obstructing the vision of the Irindanambi. The Shiva shrine, which was located right in front of the Irindanambi, was obstructing the view of Irindanambi. So he could not see the Irindanambi, devotees could not see the Irindanambi in full form. So he instructed the shrine to be removed and the lingam also to be removed outside. So that was done in the name of renovation. They claim that Deva Prasnam was conducted for this, in which it said to remove the shrine to the outer prakaram. And the reason for which they had to remove this to the outer prakaram was said, the Nevedyams are prepared in that Madapalli and are offered to Vishnu first. And then that same Nevedyam is offered to Shiva. And hence, since it is offered for the second time to Shiva, it is Sesham or Asuddham, as per the Agama Sastras. So, this Deva Prasnam, which was conducted by the great Unnikrishnan Panikar, who did all these sort of mischiefs in Palani temple, also did the same thing here. Hence, the new shrine for Shiva with all the Parivara Devatas was constructed in the outermost prakaram of this temple with a separate Madapalli to make the Nivedyams for Shiva. And this was also endorsed by a few Agamic experts, and including the pontiff of the Kanchimat, the then Jayendra Saraswati, Swamiji also at that time. Then a case was filed in the Madras High Court by the few residents stating that Shiva shrine should not be removed as it has been there in existence for centuries. And the court came out with a clear verdict to reinstall the Shiva Lingam in the original place and start the worship and then do the construction of the temple. But as of today, even after receiving the verdict, no action is being taken. The status quo is just the same. The renovation is still held up for the past 30 years. The temple is in shambles. You cannot, everywhere you find poles and posts and things like that. All the renovation materials thrown everywhere in this temple. And the Shiva temple is dark. And you just can't imagine what is the pity of this particular temple. Such a great temple, which has lost its total thing in sectarian politics. Tirukurungudi is again a very, very important place in the Vaishnavite sect. It has been referred in Varaha Puranam and Brahmanda Puranam, and also the Kaishika Puranam, a part of the Varaha Puranam. The Kaishika Dwadasi and Ekadashi are celebrated in a great manner in this temple, and that's got a great relevance here, which has been celebrated even till today in a very, very beautiful form. And thousands of devotees from all over the country do come there during those 2 days to visit this temple. And the story of this Kaishika Ekadashi Puranam goes like this. There was a Panan, a singer. Those days, Panans were people who used to go to temples and sing. So Panan, by name Nambudavan, was a great devotee of this Nambi of Tirukurungudi. And though he was born in a low caste, those days Panan was considered as low caste, and he used to come to the temple every day and sing in praise of Nambi, every day sitting in front of him. One day on Shukla Ekadashi day, night, in the month of Kartigai, he was coming to this temple and he had to cross through a dense forest. When he crossed through the dense forest, he encountered a Brahma Rakshasa who was very hungry for many days. On seeing this Nambudavan, the Brahma Rakshasa was very happy and told him that he wanted to eat him immediately. Nambudavan was terrified, but told the Brahma Rakshasa that he would finish his duty first, and that is to sing in praise of Nambi, and then he would return there and offer himself without fail. Nambudavan made many promises, but the Rakshasas was very adamant. Ultimately, Nambudavan made a promise that if he did not return, he would get the sin of those who equate Mahavishnu with other deities. That is the ultimate of the Vaishnavism. For them, the greatest God is Vishnu, and everybody is something different away from Vishnu. So that is the principle of Vaishnavism. So he said, I am a Vaishnavik, so I promise that whatever, if somebody equates Mahavishnu with some other God, whatever sin or that he gets, I will get the same thing. On hearing this promise, the Brahma Rakshasa was very much satisfied, and he allowed Nambudavan to go and do his duty and return back to him. So this is the face of the Brahma Rakshasas, which is worshipped in the temple. One of the temple priests holding the face of the Brahma Rakshasa. After singing in praise of the Lord Nambi, Nambudavan was returning to see Rakshasas. When he was returning into the forest, Nambi, the god Nambi, came in the guise of an old man and stopped Nambudavan and asked him where he was going. Nambudavan told the truth. The old man then advised him to escape in some other road so that he can get away from the clutches of the Brahma Rakshasa. But Nambudavan said no, that he would not deviate from his promise. The old man then showed him the original Rupam and gave him darshan as Nambi and blessed Nambudavan. So that is what happened there. That is what is enacted here every day, every year during the Kaishika Ekadashi day. This is the Brahma Rakshasa and that's Nambudavan there. The Panan singing there. And this is the face of the Brahma Rakshasa which has been brought in with all the temple honors. So this is the place where all the actors are sitting and rehearsing for their part to be played there. The Nambudavan went to Rakshasas and offered himself to be eaten. The Rakshasa, by the grace of Vishnu, was very much moved about the behavior and told him that his anger has vanished. Instead, he wanted to have the Sapa Vimochana. So he asked Nambudavan to give all the fruits of or the benefits, whatever he has got, by singing the praise of Nambi to him, to which our Nambudavan said, no, he will not do it. He did not budge an inch. Ultimately, seeing the persistence of this Brahma Rakshasa, he offered all the palan of his singing Nambi to him. The sin of Rakshasas disappeared and he got this original image. He thanked Nambudavan and said that he was a Brahmin by name Soma Sharma in his previous birth, and because he did some irregularities while performing a yajna, he was cursed to become a Brahma Rakshasa, and now that he has been redeemed and by Nambudavan. This episode is enacted in the temple every year during the Sukla Paksha Ekadashi, Kartika Ekadashi, by the traditional performers who perform this after taking a vrata for 10 days. The next day, in the early morning of the Dwadasi, the Kaishika Puranam is read out in front of Nambi. Thousands of devotees from all over this country come to this particular temple to witness this wonderful feature that's happening every day, every year in this beautiful temple of Tirukurungudi. It is believed that Ramanuja was the propagator of Vishishtadvaita philosophy, taught Vishnu about the Ashtakshara, Om Namo Narayana, and hence the presiding deity, the Utsava Murti, came to be known as Vaishnava Nambi. The story goes like this. This Ramanuja with his devotees had gone to the Kerala regions and he was propagating this philosophy of Vishishtadvaita. The Nambudris were very upset, and when Ramanuja was fast asleep, they just took him away from that place and dropped him in this place very close to Tirukurungudi. That place, he was dropped by the riverside. So Ramanuja always there with so many other devotees around him and people who used to come and help him in all his daily routine. One such person, the lieutenant of Ramanuja, was Vaduganambi. So this Vaduganambi was there in Kerala. Ramanuja alone had come here and he was there. We got up in the early morning. Once morning he got up, he had a bath in the river and immediately he wanted to apply Tiruman to his forehead, the 12 Tirumans that the Vaishnavas put. So he called Vaduga. Vaduga was there in Kerala, he could not come there. He did not realize that. So Mahavishnu, Nambi, came in the form of Vaduga and brought him and gave him the Tiruman putti to him. Ramanuja applied the Tiruman. So when he applied the Tiruman, he said, Vaduga, when I apply this Tiruman, I should not keep quiet. I'll have to talk about the greatness of Ashtakshara mantra, that is Om Namo Narayana mantra. So you please listen to that. So you will get your salvation. So he explains that Ashtakshara mantra to us, that Vadiga, who is Mahavishnu himself. So after that, in this episode, this Utsav is what is known as Vaishnava Nambi in this temple. The Arayar Seve, which is there very popular in most of the Vaishnava temples like Sriviliputtur, Alvar Tirunagari, and Srirangam and other places, started from this Tirukurangudi. Arayar Seve is a form of worshipping Vishnu. It's originated from this place. As per the legend, the practice was established by Nada Munigal, who was practicing this Arayar Seva with his fellow mates. And Vishnu, the Nambi of this temple, wanted to see what it is. And he came to the South Bada street and hid behind a pillar and saw this beautiful enactment of this Arayar Seva and enjoyed this performance. So that day, this Vishnu also gets the name as Jnana, not only Jnana, it's Gana Peruman. Gana means singing. So Gana Peruman, the one who loves music. The temple has a flat entrance tower. The five-tied Rajgopuram is behind and has 5 prakaras fully enclosed. All the shrines are enclosed, the first 2 prakaras alone, and the temple occupies almost about 18 acres of land. There is a festival hall in the second prakara of this temple, which is facing south, and the sculpted figures of this temple are very beautiful. This is the second Rajagopuram. The first Gopuram is the Mutta Gopuram. The South Prakara temple has a separate Sannidhi for Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Sameda Varahamurti, and on the western side of that you have the Sannidhi of Dasavataram, Srinivasa Perumal, Andal, and Kurungudi Valli Tayar Sannidhi are also located in the Prakaras. The Mutta Gopuram. The entrance is the Mutta Gopuram. You have wonderful sculptures in this Mutta Gopuram. Look at this. The pillars. All these pillars have Saiva images there. You find the Gilsambaramurti, Shiva, and different forms of Shiva. Apart from Vishnu, you have a lot of Shiva images in this temple. Look at this. This is the Gajasamharamurti of Shiva. Gajasamharamurti form of Shiva seen here. Again, Veerabhadra, multi-armed Veerabhadra. Bhikshadana form of Shiva. You have Ulagalanda Perumal. Apart from Perumal, there are so many images or something slightly more than Perumal. You have more of Shiva images, which is a very, very unusual feature in this particular temple built during the Nayak times. This Mutta Gopuram was built during Nayak times. The original temple had existed during the Pandya times, but this Gopurams, the first and the second Gopurams built during Nayak times, is something amazing. The wonderful architectural temple rebuilt by Nayaks in the 16th century. The second Gopuram has the most wonderful sculptural presentations. You see the Veerabhadra here, dancing Veerabhadra, multiple arms, and all the rishis are there in Anjali around him. The most notable among them are the legends of Mahabharata, where Bhima strikes the Purusha Miragam with his club, and the composite columns of Veerabhadra holding the sword horn are found in addition of all the other sculptures in this particular temple built during the 16th century. Look at this. This is again a very, very important Puranic sculpture where Garuda is seen holding an elephant in his one arm and tortoise in other arm, and he's going out there. And this again, it's got a story behind it. And you see this Ramayana sculpture, Rama seated here, the Anjaneya is here, you have Vibhishana here, Lakshmana this side, and you have Sugriva behind Rama seated there. Look at the Kumbha Panchara, designs of Kumbha Panchara. Krishna doing the Gopika Vastra Paharanam. All the Gopikas were having bath in the pond without their Vastras, and all their Vastras were taken away by Krishna. And that has been depicted here in this Gopika Vastra Paharanam. Trivikrama form of Shiva, Vishnu is seen here. Look at that. The beautiful Trivikrama standing there is one leg taken up, and Brahma is doing the Abhishekam to this feet of Mahavishnu, which was there taken up to the upper world. And that water is what flows as Ganga. According to the Vaishnava traditions, it is Brahma Kadigina Padamu. That Brahma Kadigina Padamu, the waters from the feet of Vishnu is what is flowing as Ganga. You have Mahabali and the Vamana, everything here, all the depictions of Devas and things like that. A beautiful representation of Trivikrama Avatara of Mahavishnu seen here. Again, Mahavishnu seen with this sword in his hand and riding on top of the Garuda to do the Gajendra Moksha. The Gajendra is here. He has come to save Gajendra with this on top of his Garuda. Again, Krishna stealing the butter. This is again Vishnu in another form. Look at the sculptures of the great elephant with different women forming the shape of an elephant. Here, parrots forming the shape of a horse. Again, parrots forming the shape of an elephant. Again, women forming the shape of a horse. All these are all architectural marvels that has been created during the Vijayanagara time. The sculptures in the hall. On entering the temple, which is known as Mattayadi Mandapam, found is another Nadi Mandapam. After crossing the Kodimaram and the Mandapam is found with rare sculptures in its pillars. Right behind this pillared Mandapam is the Sannidhi of Manavala Munigal, and there's a bell which is hanging there. It's called Kulasekara Mandapam, and that bell which is ringing there in this Tirukurungadi temple was offered by the Tiruvankur, kings of Tiruvankur, under whom this temple was there for a long time. The Travancore dynasty was in control of this temple for a long time before it came back to the Tamil Nadu government. Look at the sculptures. The Narasimha tearing the stomach of Hiranyaksha and taking Hiranyakashipu and taking out this intestines out. And here he's catching hold of Hiranyakashipu by throat and bringing him here to the place and then killing him. The two forms of Narasimha is seen here. Rathi and Manmada. Again, a beautiful lady. The walls of the temple resemble a fort and the village is formed around this. The interiors of the main temple are covered with wood sculptures. That's wood sculptures are very beautiful, and you can see all those beautiful sculptures made by wood carvings there on the temple. Tirukkurangadi, a great Divyadesam that has stood for the unity of Shaivism and Vaishnavism from the times of Tirumangai Alvar. It is sorry to state today that sectarian politics have played havoc. The great architectural expansions carried by the Nayaks, with outstanding sculptures of Shiva and Vishnu forms depicted on the two gopuras of the temple, are now totally hidden from the public view in the name of the halted renovations. My sincere praise to Hari and Hara that good sense prevail on people for all of us to see and enjoy this wonderful temple in near future. Now we come to the next small temple of Vanamamalai Thotatri Perumal temple in Naguneri. This is again a temple located in the Tirunelveli district. The temple is glorified temple with the Nalayara Divya Prabandham. The Vanamamalai Thotatri Perumal is dedicated to Vishnu of Vanamamalai, or Naguneri as it is called today, on the banks of river Tambarabharani. And it is praised in the Nalayara Divya Prabandham, and it forms one among the 108 Divyadesams of Mahavishnu. Vishnu is worshipped here as Vanamamalai Perumal or Thotatri Perumal with this concert called Varaguna Mangai or Varamangai. The temple is believed to have been built by the Pandyas, and the later additions were done by the Vijayanagar and the Madurai Nayaks. The temple has a huge 5-tiered Rajagopuram at the entrance. The temple is one of the 8 Swayamvakta Kshetras which we saw there, and Vanamamalai is believed to have appeared here. Vishnu has appeared to Adisesha and Garuda. Daily 6 rituals are being held here, and yearly festivals are also held in this temple, and the temple has been maintained by the Vanamamalai Jiyar Mutt, and the Vaikanasa Agama Sastra is followed here in this temple. The presiding deity finds mention in the Brahmanda Purana, Skanda Purana, and the Narsimha Purana. The legend is that Mahalakshmi came believed to have been born in this place as Sri Varamangai, and hence this place came to be known as Varaguna Mangai. Adisesha, the serpent, performed penance in this place, and Vishnu rested on the serpent, and the Garuda also performed penance, and he was granted the wish by Vishnu as in Vaikunta. As per the local legend, the childless king by name Karya worshipped Vishnu in this place, and the king was asked to perform Abhisheka to the presiding deity on every day with oil, and he was blessed with children. And the king constructed this wonderful temple of Vanamamalai. The oil Abhishekams are continued even today, and the oil is collected and poured into a well known as Ennai Kinare. This is the Ennai Kinare. The oil, every day, Vishnu is known as Alankara Priya and Shiva is known as Abhisheka Priya. Vanamamalai temple is one such temple where Vishnu temples where Abhishekams are done for the presiding deity on a daily basis in the morning. The Abhishekams are performed to the presiding deity with milk, curd, ghee, oil, and everything together, and water. And all this is collected as a mixture, and that is poured into this well, which is known as Ennai Kinare. And this is considered as very sacred. In spite of all this mixture, there's no foul smell or anything happening here. And this particular oil that floats there on this well has got so much of medicinal value, and people come and take it to cure so many illness in them. And this has been accumulated there in this well for thousands of years, and it's possessing some medicinal value. This is at Ennai Kinare. Straight from the sanctum, all this oil is collected and poured into this well. The entrance Gopuram, this beautiful Gopuram. Look at that elephant structure there on the top. The 4 elephants, beautiful elephants, and the decorative entrance to the main entrance of the Vanamamalai temple. Look at the architectural designs there of Yali and the Sannidhi of Vanamamalai, the base of the base of the Gopuram of the Vanamamalai. The temple has large 5-tiered Rajagopuram and wide halled prakaras and various pillared halls in this temple. The presiding deity Vanamamalai Perumal is seen seated on Adisesha, with Sri Devi and Bhudevi are seen on the either side of the presiding deity. The sanctum is approached through the Ardha Mantapam and Maha Mantapam and many pillared halls. There are 3 big prakaras of this temple, and the shrine of Tayar is located on the second prakara. There is a festival hall in the second prakara, where the temple is facing south, sculpted pillars indicating various legends from Puranas, and wonderful Yali figures are seen in the second prakara. And this is the Yali sculpture that you see here. A very rare thing to see 2 faces with a single body. A Yali with 2 faces. Either you can take the Yali as with 1 face, or you can look at the other face. Whether it is a Yali in movement or Yali with 2 faces, we do not know. But whatever it is, it has been sculpted as a wonderful marvel in this temple. Rama with Anjaneya. Again, the same thing. This is Bhima fighting the Shamrakam. And again, this is a dancing lady. This temple was under Travancore dynasty, I said, for a long time. And still today, even when you go to this temple, you are not supposed to wear your shirts. Just as in Kerala temples, you are asked to remove your shirt and go into this temple. That thing has been still followed here in this temple. This is a wonderful sculpture there in this thing, Vanamamalai temple. Look at that, wonderful Yalis. What a beautiful Yali. Typical of Vijayanagar style. All these mandapams are exquisite, very beautiful sculptures. Hardly anybody visits this temple. This temple is, you can always go there. It's free for everybody to see. There's hardly any crowd in this temple. The southernmost part of the great Vijayanagar Empire, in the Tirunelveli district of Tamil Nadu, divine temples of Vaishnavism have been rebuilt as huge complexes by the Nayak kings in the 16th century. It's because of them that these divine temples are still in existence and under worship. My salutations to the great kings and the unknown sculptors who created them. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm prepared to take it.